everybody, this is Tony from Kate's Crafty Closet, and today we're going to make this card using several of Ink on 3 products as my design team project today. So let's go ahead and get started. This is just going to be a 1-layer card, so I went ahead and cut down some 110-pound Neenah Solar White Classic Crest cardstock into a standard A2 size top folding card, which measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is take some Post-it tape that I have right here, and I need 2 pieces, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull 2 pieces off. I'm going to kind of line this up with my mat because I just kind of want to have like a 1.5 inch strip going across so I can line it up on the mat and use the grid lines to, you know, get the straightest possible line I can. And if it's not super straight, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So there is that mark, and then we want to go down on 1.5 inches, and then we will mark this one as well right here. So 1.5 inches are good. If you want it larger, you can. You want it smaller, you can. It's all completely up to you, because we're going to do a little bit of ink blending today. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these makeup brushes that I got off of Amazon, inexpensive, and I'm going to use Broken China from Distress Oxide, and you can use any ink pads that you want. It's completely and totally up to you. And as my darker color, I'm going to use this Lawn Fawn fish tank. So let's go ahead with the lighter color first. I'm going to grab the Broken China and just generously put ink on it. So I'm going to hold my cardstock down as much as I can. I'm just going to blend. And like for me, I've noticed when you blend with inks, as it dries back and soaks up into the paper, it does get a lot more blended. So have no fear at first if he's like, okay, that just really doesn't look good to me. And so just give it a moment to do it. And I just lightly wipe this off on a microfiber cloth. You can use whatever you have. I'm going to go in with the fish tank. This is a dye-based ink, so this one does dry back a little bit differently and takes a moment to blend. And this will take us a couple passes in order to get the desired result that we want, because you'll notice that the paper is a little splotchy, so to speak, like you have white space. But I'm just going to go over it until I'm happy with the coverage that I got from it. And if a paper moves, it's okay. I'm holding it down with my hand as well. So I'm going to go back in with a little bit more of the Broken China, just so I can smooth out the transition of the colors. So I'm going to grab some more, and then I'm just going to go in around that area where it's transitioning to colors, just so it helps it become a little bit more seamless. So with that, we're pretty much done with our ink blending, so we can go ahead and remove our Post-it tape. And you can save this for another use if you want, but that's totally completely up to you. So here is our blended little strip. Looks kind of cool. I like that. So let me just go ahead and clean up my ink surface, ink on my mat, so I don't get it on my card. So cool. We'll put that to the side, because next we're going to go in with, I went ahead, this is from the Snow Buddy stamp set from Ink on 3. And remember, all the products that I use in today's video will be linked below in the description, as well as over on my blog, and all my social media sites are listed below as well. So we're just going to do some basic coloring, like not going to do any blending. So if you're like new to alcohol marker coloring, I just highly recommend just starting with one color. Get used to the feel of the markers. So today I'm going to use these chameleon pens that I kind of been having. So I'm going to I grabbed the BL4 which is a cornflower blue, and the OR3, which is a tangerine of an orange color. So we're going to go ahead and just grab the blue. So I'm going to open up my marker, and I'm just going to, like, I'm not a colorist, to be honest with you. It's like I'm not very good at it, and I'm just going to color it like I did in kindergarten. I'm going to just have fun with it. It's like, since this really is a little smaller area, there really isn't a big need to blend, you know, to shade. You know, you just don't have to do that. So it's really super simple and super easy. And if you go outside the lines, it's okay, because I did that right there, and I'll show you how you can fix those mistakes, because it's okay. And if you're okay with the coloring outside the lines, by all means, I'm okay with it too, but I'll just show you in case you want to know, how do I fix that? Okay, so that's our blue. I'm going to close that up, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. This is just a blender pen. Any blender pen will do. This is from Spectrum Noir. So I'm going to go and grab the bullet tip, and I'm just going to lightly touch, you know, dab back and forth. Don't swipe, you know, color, because it kind of may bleed the color, but this just kind of pushes the color back into where it's supposed to be, inside the line. So now we're just going to go ahead and take our OR3, and I am not going to, I'm just going to dot it, because alcohol markers tend to spread. So you don't want to really brush strokes. I'm just dotting it until I get the coverage that I need. So that is, and you can color your little penguin any color you want. It can be pink, it can be yellow, it can be blue. And we see we went outside a little bit of the line right here too. So let's just go ahead and dab it until it kind of pushes itself back in. So we're pretty much is good. Like, the areas are kind of fixed. So super, super easy. So that is our little image that we're going to stick on our card. So now let's bring our card back. And what is the next thing that we're going to do? So for me, it's like I'm going to take the fish tank ink, and I'm just going to grab, I'm actually just going to smush it onto my mat over here on the side, which is okay with me, because we can just wipe that up with a paper towel if we want to. And I'm going to squirt a little water on it, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab a brush, or whatever kind of brush you have, a water brush, anything will do. And I'm just going to swirl it around, get a little bit of that ink going. I'm just going to splatter. I'm just going to splatter it on here. And you just keep splattering it until you are happy with the results. So I just want to kind of get it everywhere that's on the card. All right, so that's cool, right? Works for me. So I'm just going to grab a paper towel, and I'm just going to sop up my mess over here so I don't get it on my card, I don't get it on my hands, and all of that fun stuff. So here we go. That's all nice and clean. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab some of the liquid pixie dust from Ink on 3. Here's our liquid pixie dust. I'll say you need at least 2 bottles of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and push this onto my mat, my glass mat, like a couple drops. And I am also going to add a tiny bit of water, just so I can get some little fluidity to it. And I'm going to go ahead and take my brush that we used earlier, and I'm going to mix it in there. Now it is some blue left on that brush, and I'm okay with that. So we're going to do some more splatters, just because I like this liquid pixie dust. It's like the little shimmer that you have in there. So then you're going to have some light blue amongst, and silverish glitter amongst your other splatters. And so I really love this stuff. Did I say I really like it? Because I do. It's all good. And so, and the thing is, like, if you have some that liquid pixie dust left over, if you have some scrap sheet of paper or a background you've been working on, just go ahead and take it and smush it into it. Like here I have a background. I'm just going to go ahead and add that to it. Like here is a background that I made a while back, and I'm just, so I don't, you know, waste that stuff, I'm just going to add it to it. And later on down the line, I can probably use that on a card or even in my art journal, you know, whatever I want to do with it. All right, so I'll go back and clean that up a little bit later on. So there we have that. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to put a sentiment on it. We're going to do the UR, which is from the Magical Unicorn stamp set. So UR, and I put this already on a round block, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my Ink on 3 Juicy Embossing Pad right here, and we're going to just heat emboss this in white. The embossing powder is also from Ink on 3. It is called Arctic White. You know what? I learned this mistake earlier, so let's retract that really quickly. Well, we'll get back to it. We're going to go ahead and put the word cool on there first, because the other day when I did that other one, everything was a little off because I didn't place the letters. So this is called the alphanumeric dies. These are like little bubble letters, like back in the day, in the 80s, so to speak, when we used to write those bubble letters in our notebooks and binders and stuff like that. So I do not detach these in fear of losing them. So I just die cut all at once, because I can just use those letters at a later date, store them in a storage system. I can do it in alphabetical order, or I can just throw them in there however I do. So I just keep them, and then when I need them, I die cut them. So I went ahead and used my Vagabond and went ahead and already die cut these ahead of time. So let's go ahead and pull them out. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take some more of that liquid pixie dust, which I probably should have just kept the ones I had on there earlier, right? I forgot I was going to use it again. So that's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of water. Go ahead and grab that brush again that we had close by, or we thought we had close by, but that's okay. You know, so here it is. Sorry about that. So we're going to grab it. Even if it still has a little bit of blue on there, it's okay. So I need the word cool. So I'm going to go ahead and, while it's still stuck inside the paper, I'm going to go ahead and color it in. So I do have a little bit of blue on it, and I kind of actually like that. I need 2 O's. So that's why I went ahead and die cut this twice. Die cut this twice, because I needed the 2 O's. And let's go ahead and do our L as well. So I'm okay with it that it's a little bit blue too. If you don't want it to be blue and you want it to be white, just make sure you clean your brush and you won't have that problem. So, but for today, I'm totally fine with it being that way. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a pokey tool, and I'm just going to pop these out. And then later on, I will fix my letters and add them to my stash. So there's, in some of the letters, there's a little circle at the top. You kind of want to pop that out with the pokey tool, so that's why I'm kind of using the pokey tool. And if you have something that you can easily, you know, grab your letters so you can put them on here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm just going to kind of place them where I need them, and I'm going to put my penguin on here because I'm going to place the penguin there. So I just kind of want to make sure that they're going in the place that I want. And I'm not super concerned about, you know, being perfect and symmetrical. I have fun with things. I just enjoy it. So it's like, okay, that's kind of where I want it to go. Cool. All right, so that's a good thing about, I need to have something that picks this up so I don't necessarily mess it up. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick them up, lift them up. I'm going to use my art glitter glue because I really like the fact that it is quick drying, but I do have a little bit of wiggle room in there. And I put a little bit too much glue, but that's okay. We can just grab it off. And we're just going to go ahead and add the C first, and then we can kind of follow suit with the other letters. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue down our O. First O. Okay, but our glitter glue is amazing. One of my favorite liquid adhesives. Like, I don't really use any other glue since I discovered this many moons ago. So I highly recommend it. So like I said, if the word cool is not perfectly straight, you can use a T-ruler and line up your letters. It's like I just do my best trying to eyeball it. And sometimes that's not always successful, but we make it work. So there we have a little bit of our coolers down. So we're good to go on that. Now we're going to go ahead and back to the Ink on 3 Juicy embossing pad, and we're going to take that UR from that Magical Unicorn stamp set. If you want to use a stamp platform, you can, but since this is a small sentiment, I'm just going to go ahead and do it like this and lightly touch it, because you don't want to push it too hard because it'll squish, and we don't want that, right? Okay, so there's my UR. Let me close this up so I don't get embossing powder all over my my doohickey. So now we're going to go ahead and grab the Arctic White from Ink on 3 and a scrap sheet of paper, so we can put it back in here. I lost my spoon, so we're just going to go ahead and throw it on there like that. And I'm going to, you should use an anti-static powder tool if you have one close by, but of course I don't have one close by, and totally okay. You can just grab a dry brush and fix that. Okay, now that we have our embossing powder on, we can go ahead and turn on our heat gun, get it nice and hot before we go to the paper so it doesn't blow our embossing powder off. So, I love the magic of embossing powder, and I love watching it melt. So there is our UR. Like, wasn't that simple and easy? Let it dry for a second, then we'll kind of wipe off any excess powder that is sitting on there. So it's cool. And if you have a little bit of a damp cloth, it's okay. And I did have some stragglers of the embossing powder on there, and it's okay. I'm fine with that. So here is our little penguin. Let's bring him back in, because we're going to put a little bit of liquid pixie dust on him as well. I probably should have did this earlier as well, but that's okay. So we got that, and I'm going to make sure this brush is clean, because I don't really want blue on his belly, because we're going to put liquid pixie dust on his belly, just to give him a little bit of sparkle and shine. So yeah, you're gonna, when you buy this liquid pixie dust and you get this in your craft room, you're really gonna put it on everything. I assure you on that. And there's a little bit of blue tint in there, but it's very, very faint, so I'm okay with that. It just kind of gives him a little bit more character, right? So let that dry a second so it's not super, super wet. And in the meantime, let's clean up our little pixie dust area so we don't get it everywhere, and pull this back in. And we have a foam square here. It's a little bit on the bigger side, so that's okay, because we'll just go in with a pair of scissors, and all I'm really going to do is cut off the corners, because it's just easier that way. I don't recommend using these cutter bees. You really should be using something that is a non-stick surface. But this is the thing I have the closest by. And we're going to put it back on the back of our penguin. We're going to peel off that release paper. And good thing this is only one piece of release paper. All right, and we're just going to put him down on our little blue surface. Nice. We're gonna get rid of that. And so then we're gonna go in and add one more last touch, and then we'll be finished with our card for today. I have some of these little stones. They're like glitter and white that I picked up at the expo recently. So these you have to literally cut. They're kind of on a little strip of adhesive. So I'm going to cut them. I'm going to use 7 of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut 7. Okay. And I'm going to peel them off individually. And of course I'm going to put 1 there. And then I put 3 on the top. And then I'm going to put 3 on the bottom. And I'm just randomly choosing spots. And this placement, like what you say, always use odd numbers, you know, is what the eye likes, is odd numbers. And so we're going to go 7. 7 is an odd number. So we're going to put 3 more at the bottom. If you want to put a sentiment on the inside, you certainly can. I'm just leaving it blank. So this is kind of this is our card for today. Hope you enjoyed this, and make sure if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, and make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, and also hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I load a video up to YouTube. And I thank you all for joining me, and you all have a craft today, y'all.